Okay, so when it comes to these online classes, there are going to be a lot of things that are exactly the same for every single class that you're going to take. So if you look at the first page of that packet that I gave you down at the bottom, there's a little grid. Down at the bottom in the little grid, it says LPN and it says STD. That does not stand for sexually transmitted disease. You guys used to be called standardized, now you're core. So the courses that are listed are the ones that you're going to be taking online, and then the grade that you need to pass is also listed there. So you will take math, English, communications, environmental science, and I feel like I'm missing something. Sociology, thanks. So you guys need 60s to get out of those classes alive, which is like, I can do that, that's fine. Doesn't always happen. So what we're going to talk about today for your online courses is going to be the same exact rhythm for every single online course you're going to take, whether it's going to be English, which you're going to have starting today, except for you, April, or whether you're going to have it in environmental science at the very end, which usually is not a difficult class, but students just complain that it's boring.
I love that.
Every single class that you guys are going to take online, I have taught in person, except for the science class. So I always, when people ask me, I just had somebody today go, so what do you do here? And I don't quite know how to answer that. I guess I should say I'm Dr. McDonald, by the way, but you probably figure that out from the emails and stuff. But I always like to say that I am your Play-Doh. From here until you graduate, whether you are EFTA, whether you are a medical assistant, it does not matter. Because it depends on what you're going to need me for that particular day. So you needed me for something before it was even hybrid. And we got that taken care of for you. Sometimes you have a certain mod where at home crap hits the fan. And it's not that you can't handle the content, but you can't handle, not that you can't handle it, but it's really difficult to then try and balance and juggle work and school and babies and all that other kind of stuff. And you start spinning out of control and you need some help. Sometimes I have students who are handling at home and they are handling school, but they don't have anybody else at home who understands what this is like, what school at all is like. And they need somebody who can relate to what they're going through. So I have a huge beanbag chair in my office that right now is covered in books, but people can plop into and talk to me. Sometimes you need help just tutoring. So I have a medical student right now going through the math class, and she swore that was going to be her worst class ever. So she meets with me once a week. For 5 weeks, we got her through math class, and she's done very well. So it really depends on what you need from me. The thing I need from you is to talk to me. Because if I don't know what's going on, all I'm going on are grades. So every single day at 7 o'clock in the morning, my email chimes, and it is a grid, a very big one, of all of your names and your grades that you have in your online classes and when you last posted attendance and stuff like that. So if I see someone having a 20, I call it my oh shit list. Not like you're on a shit list, but my like, oh shit. I'm going to be like, what's going on? Are you okay? I'm not going to contact you to yell at you. But if something is going on and you let me know prior, I can help more before that grade hits a 20. So for example, I had a student, she was a nursing student, and I always bust her because I tell her that I tell this story all the time. She had a scheduled appendectomy, so to get her appendix out, for like 4 weeks, for a month from when she told me, but she'd still be in class. So she gets her note from her doctor, I send it off to the powers that be, we get her extensions, no problem. Later that week, I get a note from her, or I get a text from her on a Sunday going, yeah, so I'm in the hospital now. She sends me a picture of her hospital bracelet. She's like, what do I do? So I'm on the horn with all the people I need to be with. I'm like, look, she's in the hospital now. It ruptured. Let's get her extensions, whatever we need to do. And we were able to do that. Turns out she didn't need any of them because she did her work from her hospital bed, because that's the type of kid she is. And I'm sorry, no matter how old any of you are, you're going to be my kids. But that's what I mean. If you tell me stuff, crap, like you were sick last week, you said, right? If I know that, I can give your teachers a heads up. I can work to let them know some of your stuff might be late without them just going up based on perception. So if you just turned stuff in late and we had no idea what was going on, I had a student in a motorcycle accident. Didn't tell me. She wasn't turning stuff in. Then she finally tells me, well, how am I supposed to know? Now I can't save you. It's 3 weeks later. So the more you communicate with me, the better that all of us can be. Because the students have a tendency to call me Mama Bear, because when I need to fight for you, I will fight for you. But you got to give me something to work with to fight for you for. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I talk to this student every day, and she's doing X, Y, and Z, and grade will be up in 2 days. I know what's going on. They're like, oh, okay, then we'll back off. I'm like, thank you very much. So, that's my job in this, is to help you. It's to get you through in whatever that means to you. The things that are going to stay consistent through every single class are your deadlines. So you need to, so even if you don't have class, like today you guys didn't have class, but thank you for coming in anyway. So that would mean Wednesday you guys don't have class. On your schedules, does it say that you have online class today and Wednesday?
It just shows our on-campus class, at least on my schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, my schedule shows Sunday.
The online schedule does show the online class, but the paper schedule, I know mine only has.
Yeah, the
anatomy
paper
and
schedule is
physiology.
just,
Yeah.
So the
The
one in
Tuesday,
your
Thursday.
portal has the online
Yeah,
class
it
on it.
says Sunday to Monday to Sunday or something.
something like that,
Okay.
yeah. Doesn't say anything for Monday and Wednesday.
For some people, I'll show you. I would do it for you on here, but I don't have a student link, so I can't get in there to show you, which sucks. But a lot of the schedules for people will say like, oh, they have a physical class Tuesday, Thursday, so their online class is Monday, Wednesday. No. For the online class, it does not matter when you do it, when you log on, as long as you hit 2 sets of deadlines. Your first deadline is Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, for every single online class that you will have a main discussion board post that is due. If you've never seen or done a discussion board post, we're going to be doing it together. That's fine. If you need to write it, write it.
Yeah.
Well, it's right there,
Do
though.
it anyway.
I didn't even know it was right there.
Do it anyway if that's what helps you out. If you've never seen what one of these things are, it's basically like if you've ever been on any website and they have like a forum and you can post threads. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like if you go on to I was on a, they have them for anything anymore, like magazine articles that you would see, or like the royal wedding was just on, and it's like, leave your comments down here of what you thought of her dress.
Yes.
And I
I
really
know
want to
you know.
post, I don't give a crap. That's kind of what a discussion board is like.
Mm-hmm.
So every single week, in every single online class, you have to post your main discussion board answer by Wednesday at midnight. So every single week, and when we get into Blackboard, you'll see all 6 weeks are open already. Every single week, the teacher gives you a different prompt or thing you have to answer. You have to post your response by Wednesday at midnight. We're all good? The only exception is week 1 of every single class, because you will have to do your main discussion board post, and then you have to do the stupid welcome. Hi, my name is Cass. I've been a teacher here for 7 years. I'm an only child. I pick my nose. I eat my boogers. Like that kind of stupid stuff. Honestly, what I do for that welcome post, or what I have done and what I suggest to students, write it in a Microsoft Word document, save it, and then every single class, copy and paste it over and just tweak it based on what the teacher wants. But usually it's your name, what program you're in, what campus you're on, because you guys are going to, even though you're sitting in this room together, Larissa, you might be in English class with someone from our Florida campus and not be in class with these guys at all. No, but it's just how the classes are set up. Yeah, there's 25 students to a clip. So if you were 25 and she's 1, she goes in a new section. Not to single you out, but I remembered your name. Yeah.
So my name is Larissa.
Did I get it wrong?
Well,
Hey,
this is
Gab,
Jessica.
That's Jessica.
Sorry. It's okay.
Yeah, we said Larissa, and I'm like, where's
I know, I'm like, you turned around, I'm like, maybe that's not a good thing. Okay, maybe I'll just run that right over. This is what's tough about not meeting you guys until here. I only know you through texting. Anyway, sorry.
It's okay.
So that's going to be consistent all the time. Except for week 1, you will have those 2 posts to do. Sunday, no matter what class it is, Sunday the rest of the crap is due. So you will have to respond to 2 classmates' discussion board posts. You have to do any quizzes and any assignments. All that stuff is due by Sunday at midnight. So it doesn't matter. Usually what I see happen is people will log on Monday or Tuesday. They'll get a quiz out of the way. Maybe they'll do the discussion board post. Then I see them hop on again Thursday, Friday to usually get like the peer responses done. And then Saturdays and Sundays they're submitting their assignments. Every single assignment you are going to have to do, even in math class, which seems really weird. And in English class, everything is going to be done through pre-made, templated worksheets. So in English class, if the topic of the week is writing a narrative essay, you are not opening a Word document and writing a narrative essay. You are finding that worksheet, and you are typing the stuff in the worksheet, and you are turning in the worksheet. Yeah. A lot of people, once we open it, they're like, seriously? That's it? So we're going to get to that point and show you that. So Wednesdays and Sundays are what you really, really need to pay attention to. The reason why we're meeting today is because your class opened today. So when you finish these 6 weeks and you submit your stuff on Saturday, the very last week of every single class, you submit stuff on Saturday and I send out reminders. Your class then won't open again until Monday. So you actually get Sunday off. Yay. 1 whole day. But depending on what program you're in, you're not going to have an online class necessarily every single mod. Because you can see how long your program is and how many online classes you have to take. So my F is in the room. This mod you'll be taking English. Then next mod it'll be 2 campus classes. Then the mod after, you'll have a math class online. However, my medical students in the class, you'll have English this mod, then you have math next mod. Because that's just the way your curriculum goes. So even though, again, you're in the room together and you might be in A and P together, come next quarter, you guys are going to split quite a bit and go off in different
Okay,
directions.
so you said the medical assistant, next mod is math?
Yep. And if that's where you panic, then that's where you let me know, and we meet every week, we meet twice a week, whatever you need.
I'm just glad to know that because that helps work-wise, you know what I mean? If you
Oh, yeah.
kind of have
Mm-hmm.
a general idea.
Of where they fall, yeah. When you guys enrolled and they gave you that admissions list of your list of courses in the order that they were in, there should be a little asterisk next to the online courses so you can see where they fall. Usually after English and math, everybody hits like a good rhythm, and I then just check in with them grade-wise or if something's going on. So I never, and then it's very weird if you guys fail a class, if you take a leave of absence, if things like that happen, then I lose track of where people are at online-wise. So let's talk about failing the class. God forbid. Let's not have that happen, first of all. But sometimes it does. If you fail an online class, as of right now, which is May 21st, 2018, for the sake of the recording, the way that it works is that you get one freebie. So let's say you start this quarter going, I got this, I could do this myself, that lady seems nuts but nice, but I don't need her, and I got this. And then it hits week 5 and you go, shit, I didn't have this. And you have to retake English. So you get to retake English as a freebie, so you don't pay for it. However, you have to now find a spot where it's going to fit. So now instead of taking 2 classes somewhere, you're going to have to take 3 classes somewhere. For all of you in the room, because you have externship at the end, if you get to the point of going out on externship and all of your online classes are not done, you don't get to go out on externship. So failing an online class can very easily push your graduation. Or you're taking 3 classes at the same time. If you fail 2 classes, which I have someone going through right now, she failed English and now she failed math. Now she has to find 2 spots to take 3 classes at a clip, or stay here in extra mod and take just those 2 classes. But now she also has to pay for that second class that she failed. So for some of you who are here on scholarship, if you're here on financial aid, doing that could mess things up in the financial aid realm. And don't ask me those questions because I don't work in that department. Luckily, it's the one area of this school I don't know. But think about those things before your pride takes over. Being here 7 years, I know that one of the hardest things, especially for the women in this school, is asking for help. Because as women, it's, I got this, I can handle this, I have to handle the kids, I have to handle the job, I have to handle my spouse, whether you go home to a boy, a girl, or whatever, I don't really care, but as women, we're supposed to be able to handle everything and keep it together and make it look like we're fabulous. I was like, I was about to say, before you got here and it was just Monica, I was about to like blow. But everyone walked in, so now I have it perfectly together and I'm fine. And you guys will all leave and I'll blow up again. I was just in a teacher's room blowing up over something that happened. But we have to keep it together, right? So when we run into issues, usually one of the last things that we are conditioned or trained or able to do is ask for help. Because it means we must not be able to manage everything. We must not be good enough for this. We must be too old for this. Something must be wrong with us. I need you to not have that mentality, because that will unfortunately lead to you failing. A lot of what students and I work through sometimes is just their insecurities and getting you through them. So, I mean, you guys have already gotten some of the messages that I sent out to the other groups. Like, it's week 6, make sure you turn your stuff in, or some of the cartoons that I send out, or the quotes that I send out. I'll make sure you're in my list. But I do that all the time, and I mean it. I don't, like, hey, let me just sit on Pinterest and find these quotes on a Saturday, because I have absolutely no life. Okay, so Wednesdays and Sundays, those are the things that you need to remember. Now, you do have to post attendance in your online classes. So the way to do that is really weird, because it's not like you can log in and someone's like, hi, you're here, yay. So the things that get graded, when you turn something in that's going to get graded, that's how you get attendance for that day. So when you do a discussion board post, when you do a reply, when you do a quiz, when you do an assignment, those are the things that typically get graded. Sometimes in math, there are some labs, or there are interactive lessons where after you watch it, it's like, yay, you watched this, here's 3 points. Anything that's going to get graded counts as attendance. You can have a 100 in a class and still get dropped because you didn't post in a certain amount of time. So there's this chick named Katie, and she works from Ohio. So Centerville, Ohio is where it's the hub for all these online classes. So if I need to get to your instructors, if I have an issue, if I have a question, I go to Katie. Katie does what she needs. She's kind of my next step. Katie emails you guys often. So you'll probably get an email from her within the next couple days once she sees that you guys are on the roster. Welcome to online classes, kind of an email. I'm Katie, and if you need me, she's really great. She's very helpful. Again, we kind of sometimes switch these online people often, so you might actually hear from someone named Stephanie instead. They work together, but as of today's date, it's Katie. But here's what's going to happen. She's going to send series of emails. So you see what grade you need to pass, right? What grade do you need to pass as either an EFTA or a medical assistant? 60. The benchmark to be able to pass your, you're going to have to take boards, not boards, but your big final exam assessment thingy that I can't think of the name of before you go out on extern. You need an 80. Yes, there's really one of those. For the EFTAs in the room, you have to take your radiology and your ICE exams, 2 of them, to get certified. The medical students, you guys need an 80 on that exit comprehensive thingy. I can't think of it. I'll think of the name of it at some point. But the benchmark for online classes is, we figure if you could get a 78 or higher, then statistics show whether you're in EFTA, nursing, or medical, you will be able to pass those exit things to get you your licenses and get you out of here. So what'll happen is, if your grade slips below a 78, you'll get an email from Katie that usually looks kind of computer generated to save her time, because she's got a lot of them, a lot of students. And she copies me on the email saying, hey, not that you're failing, but I'm concerned about your grade, it's below a 78, da-da-da-da-da. Don't panic about your grade unless you hear from me. Because every Wednesday and Thursday, that's the report I go by. Your teachers grade all your stuff by Tuesday. So Wednesdays and Thursday reports show your actual average as of that point. If you hear from me, I go by the 60. So if you're 60 or above, I might check in just to let you know, look, you're right at a 60, be careful, don't let it drop. Or if you're way below, I'm going to check in and make sure what's up. Are we with me so far? Okay, so that's one kind of email you're going to get from Katie. This does have stuff to do with attendance. I swear I'm not that, nuts. The other way that you're going to hear from her is through our attendance policy, which is very hardcore. And it's far more hardcore for our online classes than it is for, it's just really hardcore. So you will get an email. If you have not posted attendance in your online class in 7 days, she sends you an email that she also copies me on saying, hey, you haven't posted attendance in 7 days. But I have certain students, and I kind of know your rhythm, that you go on 1 day a week, you post everything. You might go on Tuesday and post everything. Wednesday and Sunday's work, because that's the day you have off, you don't have work, whatever. So 7 days doesn't make me nervous. She sends another email at day 10. That's when I get nervous. When I see that, that's when I get in touch with you going, oh boy, what's going on? It's been 10 days. At day 14 exactly, she sends just me an email saying, drop them. And if I haven't heard from you, if I don't know what's going on, if I have no idea why you haven't posted, if you're not returning my messages, if you're not returning my calls, if you aren't showing up on campus either, you're dropped. So you could have been enrolled in the class on Tuesday, and when you log into Blackboard on Wednesday, the course is gone. If you get dropped from a course, you have to take it over again. So attendance is a very, very big deal. We understand?
Mhm.
This is why if something's going on, like when you were saying, I overheard you say that you were sick, or I've had a student that was in the hospital, stuff happens. I've had students who are moving and their internet hasn't been turned on or something like that. Even if there's circumstances I know of, I can at least make them aware so we have a reason as to why you're not posting. Here's the biggest reason that will not fly. At the end of orientation, I'm going to be giving you your laptops. Please look at what you're sitting in front of. These are computers. There are more computers along the wall. In the classroom at the end of this hallway is another computer lab. Up in the medical building, right across from 209, is another computer lab. So the one thing that won't fly is, well, I have the laptop, but I don't have Wi-Fi. Go to Dunkin' and get $1 cup of tea, or just sit there and steal their Wi-Fi. I'm not a proponent of stealing. But the no computer, no Wi-Fi kind of a thing is not going to be an excuse to have me be able to save you from getting dropped or not failing. Now, I did have one student, I think she was in your group, who, no, I think it was you. Oops, totally just called you out on that.
Uh-oh.
No, you were the one with the booster, right?
I was thinking about it. I got it. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah. I tell your story at all the orientations, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I do. So she came up to me, and she didn't even have an online class yet. That's why she's hanging out with us today. That's April. Hi, April. But her Wi-Fi signal wasn't strong enough, and couldn't get like a stronger modem kind of a thing. So we kind of just through talking, I was like, oh well, they sell boosters to boost your modem signal, so you could work at the back of the house or something like that. And you were researching them, and they ended up cheaper than what I thought they were.
They're like $30.
They're at Walmart.
I was thinking they were like 30 or 40.
It looks like a flash drive, basically.
But you said they helped you through. Did you end up getting it?
I got it. I haven't used it yet.
Because you haven't been on the online class.
Well, no, I still use the internet, but it's somehow gotten a little bit better.
Oh, good. So sometimes you might have issues like that just that just came up naturally through us having a conversation that we can find fixes to. But if you haven't posted in 10 days and you finally go, yeah, well, I don't have internet, or my computer's not working and I never told you, or it's not going to fly. You have all of these computers at your disposal. You have me at your disposal to try and fix your laptop. If something goes weird with these laptops that you are about to get, do not try and do stuff to them yourself, because you can inadvertently void the warranty. So don't be installing all these programs that you think are going to fix things. Don't be removing programs that are in your way or whatever. I have a student right now who did something like that, and she could have possibly voided her warranty, which means the computer that does not work now, that she has paid for in her tuition, you're stuck with because you messed up the warranty. You got to go get it fixed. So if anything goes weird with those, you let me know. Okay, we did attendance, we did deadlines. Questions so far? How are we doing?
With the attendance, are you suggesting that we go on at least a couple times a week to post?
It kind of happens almost naturally. People go on at least twice a week. Usually 2 to 3 times is the average that I see in the reports. It's very rare. I've had very few students who are the one and done, who just like go on Wednesday and get all the work done for the week. But those people who have done that are ones who are working nights, have kids, and that's their only day off. Mm-hmm. So they crank it all out that day. Okay. So there's very few of my 7-dayers. But I usually see 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
What else? Sometimes an issue guys have that you might not necessarily expect to have is time management with the online classes, because you do whatever, whenever. A lot of you really like that structure of I come into class at 9, I have lunch at 11:30, it picks up again at 12, I go home at 2:30, and then the teacher tells me what to do in between. With the online class, that doesn't exist. So sometimes you guys are like, I can handle the material, but you gotta make me a schedule that on this day at this time, I do my online stuff. On this day at this time, I do my online stuff. So if you need help with that, you just let me know. Sometimes we have to create a sense of structure for you guys for the online classes.
Is there certain days you would recommend us, like for the attendance? Is there certain days that you would recommend us going on for it?
Definitely Wednesday and Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
But what I really do recommend, I'm glad that you asked that. Wait, remind me your name, because obviously I'm
Morgan.
screwing them up.
Morgan.
Oh, okay. How are you feeling? Okay. One thing I do suggest is, especially, well, for all the classes, your assignment isn't due until Sunday. However, I would suggest submitting your assignment, that worksheet thing, by Saturday. Because Sunday night, I go to bed, and the stuff is due by midnight, and I wake up at 5 in the morning, or whatever, on Monday to come to work, and I had a slew of messages at 10:30, 12:30, 3:30, 5:30. I submitted my paper, but I submitted the wrong thing, and I don't know what to do. It's like, well, what do you want me to do now? Now you're late, and you screwed it up. So if you screw it up Saturday, I have 24 hours to help you unscrew it up. So I would advise submitting the worksheets by Saturday, but once you're in the groove of things, that might be kind of a pipe dream. I also have students, once we get into Blackboard, who see all 6 weeks and they go, oh, I'm totally going to work ahead. Like, this would be great. Like, I could get the quizzes done in advance, I could do the discussion boards in advance, and then week 1 is over and they go, oh, screw that shit on it. Nope, not happening. I'm doing this 1 week at a time. I don't think that really answered your question, though.
No, but
But usually I see people go on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or Tuesday or Wednesday. They get their main discussion board post done, they get whatever quiz might be done, and then they spend, if there are other people at that point who have posted, they might do a reply. Like, usually Tuesday or Wednesday people do as much as they can, and it's almost like that's the first half of the week, and then they save the assignment for the latter half of the week. Now, I've had students, since these assignments are done on worksheets, I have students who learn better by writing first rather than typing. I've also had students who they go to work, but they're not allowed to use computers. When you're on campus, you're more than welcome to hop onto the portal, hop on Blackboard, print out the worksheet. Fill it out. If you're allowed to, a lot of people have downtime at work, but they can't use the computer, but they could still, do some homework. You can fill out the worksheets by hand, and then you just have to grab a laptop to type your stuff in. There are a lot of students who see a discussion board post, take a screenshot of it, send it to me through Remind, and go, what? Can you put this in human terms? And I explain it. Sometimes if it's too difficult, I had one student in environmental science, and she sent me the prompt, and she sent me what she thought it meant, and she had screwed it up so bad that it was like 8:30 at night, and I was like, wait, give me your phone number. And I called her, and I explained the whole thing, because it would have been too much to do through text. So I'm here for that stuff too. Or when you get the worksheet, you're like, I don't get what it's asking. Ask me. I'm not the one who's teaching you these courses, but you're I don't even know what group through these classes you are, so you're not my first time. What are the questions so far?
So you go on the website, right, and that's marking us as present, like our attendance.
Well, you go onto the website, but you might choose to go onto the website and just poke around and maybe like print out the worksheet. But you didn't turn anything in. So that's not considered attendance. It's when you go in and you actually post something that gives you a grade. So so today we're gonna go in, we're gonna poke around. That won't count as a grade. Before I let you go, I'm gonna make you post to the discussion board, so that'll post attendance for you today on the very first day. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I was just confused on how that works.
No, that's okay, because a lot of the times teachers will post videos or stuff like that, and sometimes people go on a Monday and watch the video or do the readings. That doesn't count as attendance. It's when you actually turn in something that gets graded. That's why we wait until they wait until 7 days before they're like, where are you at? Because your stuff was due Wednesday and Sunday, so we should have at least seen 2 sets of posts, probably. Better?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you do if you forget your username?
For the portal?
Yeah.
If you forget your username for the portal, I can look it up. If you forget your password, I can reset it for you.
I know my password. I just don't know my username.
So I could always look that up for you. It just means I would have to stop all of this, look it up, blah, blah, blah. Usually it's your first and last name.
No space.
Thanks. Yeah, I forgot that part. That's weird. Usually people forget the password, but they know the username.
No, because they use the same password company as those companies.
Cool. All right, anything else? So I want to show you, it's in the packet that I gave you. It's towards the end, but this document that I'm going to pull up, if the computer will decide to agree because it's slow. So there's actually a whole handbook that goes along with all of this stuff, but rather than give you the whole handbook, I just gave you the stuff that's important. So when we just talked about the attendance policy, I know everybody stopped yawning on me. I gotta start yawning too. So this document that you have in your packet, this takes you through the same stuff that we talked about. So you are considered participating or submitting attendance when you actually do something that's going to get graded, which is what we went over. Anything weird you guys are seeing about deadlines?
It says Monday.
Well, the week for online students starts Monday
Oh,
morning.
Sorry.
So these classes technically opened this morning, but I was in class, so we couldn't meet this morning. What about your deadline? Or anything else that you're noticing that looks a little weird?
Pacific time?
Yeah.
Oh.
So all of your deadlines are Pacific time, not Eastern time, which is what we're on,
So
or
like-
Eastern Standard
It'd
Time.
be like 3 a.m. here.
Yes.
Oh, that's
You technically all of your stuff is due at 3 in the morning. However, I prefer to beat it into you and train you to think midnight, so that if you have an oh crap moment and submitted at 2 in the morning, you're still safe. And usually the students like that because midnight sticks in their head a lot better. And I just kind of do that so then you know you have a 3-hour cushion, but hopefully you don't push that 3-hour cushion.
So you say 3 to me, I'm pushing it to 3, so I'll just keep it at 12.
That's exactly why I do that. If I say midnight is what sticks, rather than me saying 3 and then you're like, I'm good, it's 12, I got till 3.
Yep, fall asleep.
And then you wake up at 4 and you're like, no! So I implemented the buffer. So if you fall asleep at 11 and wake up at 1 and you're like, oh, I'm late, I better post. Well, not quite. You're late by McDonald's standards, but not by their standards. So go by midnight. The other thing that I want to make very, very clear to you is a little bit further down. We talked about when you're responding, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is something that is very important. This is the late work policy. If you do not turn things in on time, I don't think it's very much of a shock that you're subjected to late points. So, late work in online courses will not be accepted without prior approval from the instructor. So this is where if I know that something's going on, I can get to your instructor to get you that extension if we need it. So the instructor has to give you prior approval for late work. Late discussion posts are discussed above. So typically, if you miss your Wednesday deadline of your initial discussion board post, it does not get a grade. You still have to submit it to show the effort and the work, but you just lost a grade for it. So discussion board posts are worth 60 points each. You just lost 30. Your main post is worth 30, and then each reply is worth 15. Do we get that? So you cannot be late with this stuff. An assignment over 2 weeks late will not be accepted without proper documentation of the absence. So, hospitalization, something of that nature. Something we actually have proof of, like, God forbid you got stuck somewhere. Like my aunt and uncle, they went to Mexico one year when, of course, like the hurricane hit. So they couldn't come home. Not that I want any of that to happen to you guys at all. If the instructor goes, yeah, okay, you can turn stuff in late, you are still subject to late points coming off the grade. So when you turn stuff in late, if they say okay, you're still going to lose late points. So is it really worth it to turn crap in late? For that one student who I told you about who had failed English and now failed math, she failed math by 5 points because of this. She was going through a rough patch for 3 weeks. I didn't know. I kept checking in with her. I wasn't hearing back from her. She finally tells me what's going on while she has a 20 in the class. The instructor lets her make up all the work, but after the late points are deducted, she's 5 points shy of passing. And she now has 2 classes to make up instead of 1. So this is the stuff that I want to prevent for you guys. A lot of the times when Katie sends out emails, if your grade is low or something like that, she will ask what's going on and you reply to her and she can give you time management tips. She repeats the late policy, but this is right from the handbook. That's why it's in this orientation packet. So I strongly suggest that you keep this packet until the day you graduate, or at least the day you're done with online classes. So you have something to refer back to. Okay, how are we doing so far? Other than bored.
There's a dog.
Squirrel.
Nobody's walking a dog.
No, but it's like, squirrel.
Yeah, no, that's me.
There is one thing that I want to show you that has nothing to do with the online classes, but something else that I wanted to show you just to give you some support. Because that really is my job. I am your bra through this whole thing. It's really good when you take me off at the end of the day. I have a YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and you search my name with the K, there is another Chris McDonald. That's why I put the doctor in front of it, aside from the fact that I worked really hard to get the doctor part. And it's a dude, so don't click on the dude. Click the one that looks like me. But there are a lot of videos here that I've created over the years for my hygiene students, for EFTA students, for anybody. But they can be very helpful. So in English class, you guys are going to have to do a discussion board on compare and contrast essays. If you don't think that the lecture that goes with it is adequate enough, you could at least listen to my lecture and just ignore my paper requirements. I believe there are also things up here. How do I read a textbook? How do I study? Welcome to college, test taking tips, test anxiety. There's someone in here. How do I read a syllabus? The videos that most people like, especially in the beginning for English, are down towards the bottom when I weighed much less than I do right now. I don't have a lot of stuff for math in there, but I've been getting requests, so it may be things I have to add. These videos here, where you see me in green or in the Dirty Girl shirt, and we did the Dirty Girl mud run, that's why the shirt says that.
Oh, I did that.
But we did it as a group for dental hygiene. But students are always like, "You were wearing a Dirty Girl shirt." I'm like, "It was the mud run." But anyway, these videos, a lot of the time students find very helpful in the beginning of English class because it's your English fundamentals. It's parts of speech. I'm the writing teacher on campus. Like I said, everything you're going to take online I've taught. Soc, psych, writing, communications, office procedures. I mean, you kind of name it on campus and I've done it, unless it's something clinical, then I haven't. But your quiz, I think, might be on the parts of speech. Well, here's your 34-minute video on parts of speech where you can fast forward me, if you don't remember what the 8 of them are. If you don't know how to write a thesis statement, which is going to be huge when you guys are in your English class for all of your assignments, it's at the end of the introductions video, because that's where a thesis statement goes. So you are more than welcome to watch these, utilize these. I have students who choose to subscribe to the channel because then when I post something new, it pops up. So my goal is to put this video on there when this is over. I know everything on the screen is backwards, but I'm sorry. If you were here, you'd be able to see it the right way. What? It is backwards. I can't fix it.
If you were here, you'd be able to see it.
You would. Some of this is probably a repeat, though, to people who already went through orientation but feel a little rusty. So that YouTube channel is there for you. If there are videos that you want up there, tell me. I do have some like ratios, proportions, things like that for math. Your math class doesn't, your week 5 of your math class goes into proportions just a little bit and ratios just a little bit, but not as heavy as I go into it in a video.
Is it all just algebra, or does it go into geometry and all that too?
No, it's like I have a light bulb that costs $3.33. How much are 5 light bulbs going to cost?
Really? So it's like,
It then gets a little bit more difficult where you have to decide, do you want to buy the traditional light bulbs or the LED light bulbs once you figure out, like, these bulbs cost this much, these cost this much, this one gives out this much light, this one gives out this much light, which one's the better deal? Kind of a thing. They all have some kind of analytical piece to it. Most people make it through math just fine with just a question here or there, and it's usually around week 4 or 5 where they have to start writing equations, and they just don't even realize that they could put x plus 5 equals 11, and they've written an equation. They just see the word equation or whatever, and it freaks them out. There's one math teacher who has a bunch of YouTube videos. I think it might be McGee, but there is one math teacher who has a bunch of YouTube videos explaining each assignment and each question in the worksheet, which is awesome. So some of the online instructors are really, really helpful. Some, here's the worksheet, there you go. I don't know many of the instructors. I don't know any of them personally. I do know some of them just through conversations and stuff like that. Okay, so when you guys are in your campus portal, over on the left-hand side, in your navigation bar, please click on where it says My Classes. Of course, I timed out. And then click on Blackboard. Please and thank you. You may have to sign back into Portal to do it because it may have timed out. But otherwise, you will be looking at something like this. You might have a black screen in front of it that says hi and whatever your name is. That hi whatever just wants you to customize. Yeah, there you go. You can hit, I believe it's right under number 3 that says do it later. So this is kind of what you're looking at. Mine is a dummy version, so mine looks completely different than yours. Are we all in? You're into it? Okay, good. So right above where announcements is circled in red is going to be the name of your class that I'm too short to reach. And it has the instructor's name in parentheses. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the name in parentheses? Please say Berger.
B-A-D-A-W-I.
Okay. Sam?
It just gives the last name.
Yep. I was just checking to see if we all have the same instructors or what.
Yeah.
You have the bad week? I don't know how to say it. Hey, look, you're all in the same group. Okay. So yours is going to say math and PE. So click on the blue, and that'll take you into the class. And if I remember this instructor correctly, they probably already have some kind of announcement or positive quote or something like that already like totally posted in announcements. Are there tons of them?
Just one.
Maybe one.
There's a lot.
They're all a bunch of different ones.
Where do you see it?
You have to go
Do
down.
exactly what you're looking at.
There's a quote, and then there's a discussion post,
Oh, okay.
and then there's a questions post, and then there's a welcome post.
I love that you're looking right at the screen going, what are you talking
I
about?
just thought you were talking about the little quote right here.
If you scroll down below where everything is in blue and yellow highlight though, for the English people, I don't know about you, but it's probably an announcement. The teacher usually posts their email address, their phone number, their office hours. I think this instructor puts text me in huge letters and numbers.
Yeah, it says text, and then at the bottom is the hours.
Where are the hours?
Oh,
All the way down to the bottom under
Monday,
pink.
10 to 11.
I'm gonna assume it's 10 a.m. to 11
That's it,
a.m.
only Mondays?
Or they only open for an hour on Mondays.
Well, that's just the time she has available. No, it says PM. 10 to 11 p.m. I doubt she would be 10 a.m. to 11 p.m.
So then.
So for that hour, I don't know if it's a she or he, I'm sorry, I think it's a she.
It says doctor, so.
So does mine, so who knows? But yeah, from 10 to 11, you could text her, call her, and she's available.
Oh, well, there's a link to hear their voice, so we can find out.
There you go. Hopefully they don't sound like right down the center.
It says, please click this link to hear my voice. And here is in capital letters.
I was working in a doctor's office once, and I had a patient on the phone, and I kept calling the patient ma'am. And all of a sudden, the patient's like, why do you keep calling me ma'am? And I'm like, I did. And I was mortified, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. There must just be an issue on my end of the phone. It must be the connection. It's the only thing I could think of.
What was the first name?
So, it was just someone calling for information. So I was trying to, address them formally somehow, but I didn't have a name. And they're like, no, seriously, why do you keep calling me miss or ma'am or something like that? He said, it must just be the connection. I'm so incredibly sorry. I was mortified. But anyway, you have the instructor's contact information right there under announcements. If it is not there, over here on the left-hand side, this is going to be your navigation panel. So pretty much in Blackboard, you could poke and hope and find what you need. There's one thing up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth from the top that says instructor information. Now, because your English instructor has so much posted there, they may not have anything under instructor information, or they may have the same things. They may also have a blue link that says wiki or something like that. If there's something blue, click on it. They might take you to a separate web page with all their information or their bio. It's what?
It's a girl.
Yep.
It's a girl! Yay! 10 fingers, 10 toes.
Where do you see that?
My name is Dr. Nora.
You
whatever.
never know anymore. You can't go based off names.
I'm gonna say
Yeah,
Nora
and
is the girl.
Yeah, at the bottom gives you all the information.
Where's that at?
Oh, good,
If
yeah.
you click, go under where it says, instructor information,
It is about me.
yep, click the About Me.
Yep, anything in blue you can click on.
Just see what's
And when you scroll all the way down, underneath Dr. B is her cell phone number and her email address. So, if you're running into an issue and you need to contact your instructor and you talk to me and I say, oh, well, did you get a hold of your teacher? And you go, no, I don't know how to get a hold of them. What do you think I'm going to say?
You're gonna call BS?
That's exactly what I was going to say. And that's exactly what I would say. I call BS. You can access it. Thanks, I know. Okay, so to be quite honest, for the most part, course introduction you don't really care about. Because it's just going to tell you what the course is about. Well, guess what? English is about English. Announcements I would monitor if I were you. The course syllabus. If you click on this, and you don't need to, but if you do, that's fine. If you look at the course syllabus, every single syllabi is exactly the same. So whether you're going to be in a psych class, a science class, English class, all of these, I really hope I don't have this video muted. I just thought of that. Oh, good. All of these syllabi are going to look exactly the same. So I was always the person, when I was finishing my PhD, the first thing I would do was print out my syllabus and I would go through it like with a fine-tooth comb. You don't need to here because everything else in Blackboard is laid out so easy to follow that this can be a little bit more confusing than it is helpful. But that's just my opinion. Of course, you can still print these out and utilize these.
Oh, that's frozen.
See how this looks like what you had in AHP and midterm and how they kind of all look the same? Okay, Vitalsource Bookshelf. If you click on this back in Blackboard, this is where you access your book. And again, my book is different because I'm in a dummy class. There is an app for Vitalsource that you can download on your desktop of your laptops when you get them. You can download this app onto your phone, your iPad, your tablet, whatever. So if you do want to read the textbooks, but maybe you don't have Wi-Fi in a certain spot, it can already be downloaded there for you. Personally, I think it's difficult to read an English textbook and then move on, but you need the math one to be able to see examples, or the English one to see examples, especially for what you need to do when you are going to pre-write, which is going to be in the first homework activity. Okay, so here's your weekly content. So all 6 weeks are already open. You could go in and do 6 weeks worth of stuff today if you wanted. So if you would like to click on week 1 for me, please.
Out of curiosity,
Sure.
I mean, I'm obviously not going to do it. But
Good.
if somebody were to do all 6 weeks,
Uh-huh.
then at that point they would only have to go in to do attendance to respond to other people's posts,
That's
right?
exactly right, yes.
Wait, what did I do?
How do you respond to people's posts?
We're going to go through all of that. I don't know what you did. Click on this. Click on that. There you go. Like, I don't know where you ended up. So please click on week 1 and scroll down and let me know how you're feeling about week 1 or what you're seeing. Again, mine is going to look different.
Live instructors. What does that mean?
So a lot of the times with the live instructor session, the teacher will actually say, you know, from this time to this time on this day, I will be live showing you how to do these math problems or showing you how to write a thesis statement. And you can log in and attend class live over the internet with it.
So how will we know when she goes live, she'll like message us?
That gets posted under the announcements. But as you're scrolling, are any of you feeling a little overwhelmed of like, wait a minute, what do I actually have to get done?
Yes.
Anybody in the front row? No, we're good? Well, there's 2 ways to go about this if you get overwhelmed. One thing is if you click on the left-hand side in your navigation panel, if you click on My Grades, the nice part about this is everything is listed with a week number. So you can, except for the welcome post. So you can see week 1 discussion, week 1, week 1, week 1. Are we seeing what I'm talking about? Okay. The other thing that can help you is if you flip to this. Huh? You're already what?
No, she asked me if I went to the My Grade thing. I said, yeah, I already clicked every single.
Yeah, you can, that's one of the nice things about Blackboard is you kind of just poke around. If you go to the packet that I gave you, the second to last sheet, I only do this for the English class. Sorry, April. Yeah, I know. So, a lot of the times, because looking at, when you click on week 1, looking at it might get a little overwhelming, or if you don't like using this, what I did was I made you a deadline calendar. You'll notice that the dates are missing so that my lazy butt could just keep photocopying this every 6 weeks for the new group of people. So where it says start of week 1 on Monday in bold, you could write 21 because today's the 21st. So based on your deadline calendar, what do you have to do by Wednesday?
Welcome post, discussion board.
Why does it seem like so much less than what's in the website?
Why is what?
It just seems like less than what we see on like the website.
That's why I said a lot of the times that week 1 is a little intimidating because you're not sure which is an assignment and which stuff is reading or is supposed to help me do these assignments. So that's why I wanted to do this. So for this Wednesday, you have your welcome discussion board post, and then typically your week 1 discussion board post in English is what does writing mean? DB stands for discussion board. I've had students actually write to me and say, why are you saying douchebag? That is not what it means at all. So I didn't realize that when I texted you guys, what I called the class, which was STD, came up. When you see it, I switched it. But I said, oh, don't forget your DBs are due. And she's like, I don't appreciate this. I do not have an STD, and I am not a DB. And I went, whoa, it's not how I meant it. I'm sorry. So, disclaimer, when I send a remind, I only have a certain number of characters. So, DB is discussion board. So, by Sunday, you have a parts of speech quiz that's due. People usually bang this out at the beginning of the week. Usually people take quizzes 3 times, because here's the nice part. You can take a quiz as many times as you want until you get the grade that you want. It's not timed, and you can see what you got wrong to take it again. So most people take it 3 times, because they're like, I got this, it's parts of speech, come on! And they take it, and they get like a 30, and they're like, okay, I didn't have that.
How are we able to take it 3 times?
You click on, do you want to take it again? You hit OK, and you just keep taking it.
And the third time, that'll be your final grade?
No, you can take it 7 times if you want. You could take it twice. You could take it 10 times. It's as many times as you need or want to take it until you get the grade that you want.
And you still get grades?
Yeah, each time your grade changes. But usually people take it 3 times. They're like, I got this, and then they realize they don't got this. They do some reading or something, usually Google searching. Then they take it a second time and they get like a 60 or 70, and they're like, all right, so let me write down what I've gotten wrong so far. And then they take it the 3rd time, and then usually that works. Students ask me, can I Google these questions? My ethical teacherness, especially on video, is going to say, no, you are not allowed to do that. My realistic self is going to say, you're home with your computer. How is anybody going to know?
Do we take tests online too?
That's it, just these quizzes.
Oh, we don't have tests?
Just these quizzes.
When you take the quizzes and you finish it, do they tell you what you got wrong?
Yes. If you are in Blackboard and you cannot see that, you tell me and I show you how to get there.
Our midterm is an essay.
Uh-huh.
Are you trying to kill me?
I don't make this up. I teach you how to use it.
How long after you do submit a quiz are the grades there?
Instant.
Okay.
Instantly. So the question I just got was, you finish a quiz, how quickly can you see your grade? You can see your grade instantly. So right here where there's a 12 out of 20, one of the groups decided to do a quiz together with me, and they decided, well, a 12 out of 20 was a 60, so we're happy with that. As soon as we finished the quiz, the grade popped right in. So it's definitely immediate gratification. One thing that I want you guys to really look at, though, is on the Sundays of your deadline calendar. Do you notice something that everything has in common?
Responded to classmates.
That's true. Something else, though.
Narrative essay.
What about it?
That you have to do part of it. Well,
The worksheet?
Yes. Every Sunday, next to what the actual assignment is, it says use worksheet, use worksheet, use worksheet.
so we're not actually writing an essay for our midterm.
Correct. You are never in this class opening a Word document that's blank and starting from scratch. So that's especially why I made this, is because a lot of students were doing that and losing big points because they weren't following what they had to do. So on your deadline calendar, if it says use the worksheet, use the worksheet. When you get to math class, every assignment is filling in the same exact worksheet. When you move on to the next online class, if this worked well for you and you liked this and you want to do this again, we can do that. But just keep in mind, every single thing that's going to be due on a Sunday, that's an assignment, is going to have a worksheet. Go ahead.
When we click on week 1 assignment, narrative essay, pre-writing, that's going to bring up the worksheet?
Nope, I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So let's go back into week 1 in Blackboard. I know it doesn't feel like it, but we're almost done, I swear. Okay, so see how this is black but not underlined and my cursor does not turn into a hand? So then we can't click on this. We don't need to. Same thing with read map to success. I can't click on it. But hey, look, there's stuff in blue that's underlined. I could click on that. We're going to save the discussion. The reading I could click on, that'll just take me to the book. The discussion we're going to wait on. Down here where it says week 1 assignment. Now yours is going to say the narrative pre-writing. See how there should be blue underline. It's either going to say assignment details, assignment worksheet, something to that effect. What does yours say?
Assignment details.
Assignment details, great. click on it. It's going to open the document in Microsoft Word. Since you're in Chrome, the file will be down in the bottom left corner. You can click on it, and once it's loaded, it'll pop up in Microsoft Word. You do want to make sure that your online classes are always done in Chrome. It's going to be the most compatible with Blackboard. So mine is still downloading. I know some of you guys booting up.
Now, I'm looking at this and it says interactive lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So before we even do our welcome one, should we do that? Because it says before you do any other assignments.
The interactive lesson is going to be almost like a cartoon slideshow. So yes, you can. Sorry, I'm about a half hour behind you guys on this worksheet here.
Wait, what? Did you call for worksheet?
Nope, it did. You're right. You're okay.
So is mine the one?
I've never seen one come up like that either.
No, that's your interactive
Why
lesson.
does
Scroll
one
down.
have two?
She probably just has their side by side. Scroll down.
Assignment.
Oh,
She just has her
four.
pages side by
No,
side.
we don't want to do
I'm
that.
such an idiot because I didn't realize.
Now, is this
that
super
you
space
scroll
here?
down.
That's Firefox?
If you go
My
to the,
brain still isn't functioning.
Now it is,
if you
yeah.
go to the bottom left corner
So
where
sorry.
it says 80% and hit the minus sign, it'll go down to 70 for that side.
Okay, see how on your, across the top, everyone has this gold bar? You must hit enable editing. If you don't, you can't do anything to this worksheet. You can't print it, you can't type on it, nothing. This is what you're turning in for your week 1 assignment. So this is what you're turning in for Sunday. All of these worksheets are set up the same way, where at the top in the beginning they tell you what you need to do. So perform the following tasks if you need to go to the bathroom. Step 1, feel the urge. Step 2, find the nearest bathroom. Step 3, walk into the appropriate bathroom. Step 4, walk into a stall if necessary. Step 5, lower your pants in some way, shape, or form. What am I on, 6? Lower yourself if needed. Like, it breaks it down in that much detail. You have to save the files like this. So yours should say ENG101 underscore week 1 underscore assignment right now, something like that. Yes, I got one.
Yeah, one.
Good. So a lot of people copy paste that. Please make sure that you change J. Smith to your first initial and your last name.
Where is this now?
We're under week 1. Week 1 assignment all the way down. And assignment details. That's how you get this worksheet. This is what you're turning in on Sundays. So every single worksheet is going to, the only thing that's really going to change is the week 1 will be week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and then the deadline. So you put when it's due. So when you save this, this is going to be your file name. It would be due on Sunday, which is the day before my birthday, so 05272018.
Also, there's not enough year spots.
I know. I always wait to see who's going to notice that.
Are we putting 2018?
That is when it's due.
So how do
That is this year.
Well, like she said, I was confused because there's only 3
Yeah,
days.
I know. And I can't even go in this and fix it. But yes, you should have 4 year spots on yours. Do you guys have 4 year spots? Oh, you have 3 also?
How do you think those 2 pages are?
She just zoomed out.
Oh.
So down in the bottom corner, you could just zoom out if you want. I have it blown up closer so you could see these file names. So you have to make sure that you save it by this file name. The next thing that's going to come on these worksheets every time is going to be the grading rubric. So whether you're in math or you're in English, this is going to be how you're going to get graded. Don't fill anything in here. This is not for you to fill in. It's kind of like a checklist for you. So if we scroll down further, after the rubric, so for you guys, pages 3 and 4. See on page 3 where it says like step 1, and then there's a line? You fill your answer in on the line.
So we do nothing with that.
You do nothing with the rubric, nothing whatsoever. The teacher will take care of that. My butt keeps like showing up in this video. It's a little weird. So you fill in the blanks. When you get to step 2 and it says write response here, you delete the bracket and you write your response.
No, I thought you kept it.
If your response, some people do. If your response is bigger than the space that you've been given though, just keep typing. You can make the space bigger. I want to show you something though for step 3. Is step 3 your pick free writing, clustering, listing, brainstorming?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to warn you of this because this is a mistake that a lot of people lose points on. Listing and questioning are probably the easiest forms of pre-writing that you can do, because once you pick a topic, you literally either write a list of stuff that you know, or you write a list of questions that you know the answer to, or you don't. You don't need to answer them. Many people, though, choose free writing, and they just kind of they brain puke on the page. However, they miss the next step. When you guys free write, you have to go back in and bold the pieces that you've written that you want to keep. Not doing that typically costs about 10 points on this assignment. So, if you choose free writing, after you've written your ideas and your sentences and stuff like that, you have to go back through and mark, usually by bolding the terms or bolding the sentences, the pieces you want to keep moving forward. Just trying to help you save some points.
So this is just a free writing? Is that what you said? I'm confused.
Down for step 3, you have to brainstorm some way to start putting your paper together. So all of these worksheets are going to connect to each other to lead you to the midterm. And then the next set of worksheets are all going to connect together to lead you to the final
So
paper.
it's basically like high school English when you start this, do it this way, then
Right.
you're going to transfer everything into the
So pretty much if you miss week 2's worksheet, you got to do that worksheet to be able to get to week
Write your
3.
paper,
It's
yeah.
all linked together. So in this one, it's, let's pick a topic. That's what step 1 is. Let's pick a topic. What 3 things do you think you could write about with this topic? When you get to step 3, it's, what do you want to say? And your options are free writing, clustering, I think, listing, and something else. Thank you. Questioning and listing are probably the easiest. If you choose free writing, where you just type whatever comes out of your brain, you have to make sure that you go back and you bold the pieces that you want to keep. So most people don't read the chapter on free writing, and they choose free writing, and then they lose points because they didn't go back and pick those things. So I was just trying to give you a heads up to save you some points.
We can pick any topic we want.
You have to read the top of the worksheet. But usually it's something that you went through where you learned a lesson and what the 3 lessons are. Is that you guys or is that nursing? I think that's you
It
guys.
says complete the reading assignment and interactive lesson before attempting assignment.
Like, oh, you have to choose a topic, like an event in your life that stands out as a learning experience.
There you go.
Oh, okay. I was confused on the comment part. Thanks, Kimberly.
Hey, I was right without the worksheet. So then those 3 things underneath would be the 3 things that you learned, which eventually will become the 3 paragraphs. Your first paragraph is the first lesson you learned, the second paragraph is the second thing you learned, and each worksheet morphs into the next one. If you want to avoid any of the crap I just said when you get to step 3, either pick listing or questioning, and either make a list of facts or make a list of questions, and that'll save you. I was just trying to help save you some points. Okay, so after you've done this, after you've saved this,
We save this on our own laptop, right?
you are going to save this on your own laptop. You will also be getting a flash drive. So you can save it on your flash drive. But what we would do is we would come back here.
Don't save.
For now, yeah, don't save. We would come back, and now see, we're still under week 1 assignment, but it's underlined, and it turns into a hand. This is called the drop box. So this is where you're actually going to submit the work on Sundays. You can submit it earlier if it's done. That'd be awesome. Early is fabulous, late sucks. I'm going to jump down to week 5 because I've already submitted things. So when you click on a drop box, this is what it looks like. Now, if for some reason you click on this and you're like, uh-oh, I needed that worksheet, you can still get to that worksheet. Are we all okay? Are we with me? Kim, you alright?
Now I am.
Oh, okay. I'm like, please hold. Okay, so what you're going to do is you are never, ever, ever, ever clicking Write Submission. Never. You are always going to attach something. So you would click on Browse My Computer. I want to show you this little tiny button. You can hit Browse My Computer with me if you want. But there's a button that can save you a lot of heartache. So I don't know why Blackboard is like this, but they don't show you a preview of your work that you submitted until after you submit it. Yeah. So let's say you submit the wrong file. Usually, you then text me and go, oh my God, I submitted the wrong file, which is what I had 3 people do today. You can't fix it yourself. You have to contact your instructor, send them an email, say, I put the wrong thing in week 1's Dropbox, week 5's Dropbox, whatever. Can you delete what I submitted and reopen the Dropbox so I can put it back in the Dropbox? Now, the teachers have a policy that they have 48 hours to return your messages. How fast have I gotten back to you?
Like the same day.
How fast have I gotten back to you when you needed me?
Within a couple hours.
So a lot of the students are like email me or text me and they're like, I asked them an hour ago and I haven't heard anything. They have 48 hours to get back to you. They don't get back to you like I do. So if you submitted it on Sunday and it's the wrong thing and they don't answer you until Tuesday when they're supposed to grade it, uh-oh. So there is this tiny little savior button on this window. It's right over here where my short self cannot completely reach. Yes, I can. When you click on this, it's going to split the screen almost in half. It's called a navigation pane or a preview pane. It will save you a lot of pain. If you click on that, when you click on a document, it shows you a preview of what it is before you even submit it. I use this thing all the time. I don't even know whose documents these are. Someone saved them to this computer. You got gonorrhea on yours?
Yeah.
So someone saved their informatics worksheet on here. Well, I don't want to put that in my English thing. So this little preview pane can save you a lot of pain. So what you would do is you would select the file, and then it would attach down here. The white box that's down here that is not popping up for me, you could just add the teacher comments, people usually never do, and then you hit submit. Once you hit submit, and don't do anything with it because yours is actually live, mine is fake. This is what it'll look like. Once you submit it, then you get a preview of what you submitted.
Is that comment box to leave comments from yourself to the teacher?
Yeah, you directly can talk to the teacher in that comment box. Like, had trouble with this, couldn't figure out number 4, whatever. I think that this is a little backwards that you get the preview after you submit it, because you have your uh-oh moment afterwards. But that's how to submit the assignments. Now, if you look back in your My Grades tab,
I
so,
think that was written for you on how to give a baby a bath.
oh yeah, that's my process essay. So in the My Grades, you see that some stuff is black and some stuff is blue. The stuff that's blue is stuff that I've submitted. All of your stuff should be black right now because you guys haven't submitted anything. So for the week 1 assignment, right now there's an exclamation point here. And I don't know why they would pick a yellow exclamation point because it's almost like, oh my god, I did something wrong. Anything that has a yellow exclamation point in My Grading means that the teacher has to manually go in and grade it, and they just haven't done it yet. So the teachers have until Tuesday of the following week to grade your stuff. So today's Monday. They have till next Tuesday to grade everything that you're going to turn in. If it's next Thursday, if it's next Friday, they still haven't graded your stuff yet, you have to let me know. So then I can get on them and be like, excuse me, can you please grade their stuff? Because I had one class and I didn't even know it. It was week 3. Week 1, week 2, and week 3 still wasn't graded yet. So the students didn't know how to move forward. So you gotta let me know that stuff.
So if you turn something in on Sunday night,
Mm-hmm.
is it graded that Tuesday? Or is it the, okay.
That Tuesday.
Okay.
Yep. That's why the teachers have till Tuesday. Like if you turn in stuff for me, I grade it usually before the next class. But think about, they have 25 of you in each section. I don't know how many sections they're teaching, so it's a lot of grading that they have to get done. Some of them do it in pieces, and they do the discussion boards separate, they do the assignments separate. But if it's been a couple days over and you're not getting a grade yet, let me know. I want to tell you, if you, I cannot access your Blackboard. So if you text me and you're like, can you look at my grade and da. No, the only thing I could look at is your report. If you want someone to go into Blackboard to actually see if your stuff was posted, if it was graded, if the teacher got it, Katie can help you with that stuff. So in your packet, if you start from the beginning, there's a sideways PowerPoint slide that has contact information. I gave you Katie's contact information as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can email her. So you can email Katie. A lot of times when you guys email her, you also add me to the email too. So this way I know what's going on. I appreciate that. Because then it's like I'm not blindsided when she writes me about someone and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. Once these things are now in blue, you can click on them also. Alright, how are we so far? I know we haven't peed or anything, but it's because I'm trying to get you out of here within the next 20 minutes, as promised. Okay.
On here.
Okay. Do we need to like stand up and do squats or something? Are we all right? We're good? Okay, so we did the assignments. The discussion board is the last thing that we're going to do because that's what everybody always has a ton of questions on. Yep, and then there's your, how you're going to say it. Same exact thing. You put it in the drop. Yeah. Okay, so let's do discussion board. There's 2 different ways that you can access the discussion board. You can either go to week 1 and go to the particular week and then click on discussion board. However, it's going to take you to exactly the same screen that just clicking on discussion board would do. So I usually get there by just clicking on discussion board. But that's totally your call. If you click on the welcome, so here's the prompt when you click on this. So let's look at the welcome one first. When you look at that, see it's what's your name, what's your major, what school are you in, that kind of deal. Tell me one interesting fact about yourself. Hello, Bueller? Am I close? Probably if you click on the welcome discussion, your teacher already wrote something. Is going to be my guess, because that usually is what happens. Did anybody click on it? Did she write anything? She did?
I don't know, did I? click
No,
on it?
you didn't do anything yet.
you
So
go
click
here?
on the blue. Yep. To get into it, you click on the blue.
Yeah.
When you click on the blue, you'll be able to see a list of people. Their name is in bold because you haven't read it yet. And those are the people who have already posted. So usually your teacher is always the first one who posts.
Doing this again?
Oh yeah, I just did a bunch of. I went a little M&M on this one because I got sick of doing them. But I do dummy ones. So, the good news is that you are this close to posting your very first piece of attendance in this class. The bad news is that we have been in Blackboard so long that it's already timed out on you. So I give Blackboard maybe 5 minutes mentally before it's going to end the session. So even though you guys are poking around and doing stuff, if you actually typed your discussion board in right now, it would not save. You would hit post and it would not be there, and you would have to do it all over again. So you have 2 options, especially when you're in Blackboard and you're poking around a lot, is close out of it, go back to my campus portal, sign back in, and hop back in again. Your other option is answer the prompt in Microsoft Word, and then you still have to get out of Blackboard and get back in. And then you can just copy and paste it over. If you do that, you have to use the keyboard shortcuts to copy and paste. So we are going to do the welcome discussion post together. So if you're going to do it in Word, you could just pull up Word. If you're going to do it right in Blackboard, bless you. If you're going to do it right in Blackboard, then you have to get out of Blackboard and log back in your campus portal. So just close the tab altogether.
Close it out.
Yeah, I would close it out altogether. We're going to talk about that in a second. It's to talk to me. You can do it on here if you want. Mm-hmm. But your Blackboard has definitely timed out on you. So even if you're like, oh yeah, I can keep doing this, I'm good. If you're in Blackboard doing this, you're going to click on Create Thread. Every single discussion board post has to have a title for some reason. That's why I get a little creative with mine. And then you write the answer in the big white box like an email. And when you're done, you hit Submit in the lower right corner. Yes. Since it's English, I would keep it tasteful. Well, since it's school, I would keep it tasteful.
Can I be like, here I am?
Sure. Hey, I told you I went the M&M route. Most people do week 1, week 2, week 3. Good. Click on your class. And what are you trying to do right now? What are you trying to find?
Discussion.
Keep going. You're so close. You're so close. There you go. That was good. Create thread up here. So now the nice part is after you hit create thread, it shows you the prompt again, so it's not like you had to memorize it. After you've done this and you hit the blue submit button in the lower right hand corner, I have one more thing to show you, and then we are on to passing out laptops. And I might be 2 minutes over. It's close, it's close.
This time is wrong.
So you're going here. Welcome. And then create thread.
I just wanted to see the examples.
Oh, okay. You could do discussion board. And it's right here. You're welcome.
Any ideas for an interesting fact about myself?
I don't know anything about you. So I would have a hard time answering that. See if I can pause this. Look like we're in a good spot. No, you're not attaching. You're going to copy and paste. So pull up your Word document and select all, and then use the keyboard shortcuts. So, or you could use your mouse shortcuts.
What is unread posts?
I never realized the teacher put about me, because I put about me too.
So when you're gonna do, I'm just doing this for the sake of the video. When you're gonna do a new post, you go to create thread. Every single thread has to have a subject line, and then you fill this in. If you chose to do it in Microsoft Word, when you do it in Microsoft Word, you have to use your keyboard shortcuts. So copy is Control-C, and then you bring it back over to Blackboard, and you hit Control-V, like Victor, and it pops it in. If you use the mouse shortcuts, it won't work the same. So once you've finished posting and you hit submit, that counts as a grade. And you know if it took because you'll see your name over here. If you don't see your name over here, that's an issue. When you want to reply to somebody, the ones that you did not read will be in bold, so you can just click on it. You can read it and then just hit the blue reply underneath. That's it. And then just type your response. You don't have to give it a new title or anything like that. So you can do the replies when you have time. But since you just did your welcome post, you already posted attendance for today, which is good. The last thing I want to show you is this thing called BBIM activation. You have the instructions in your packet. This is going to be something I would suggest downloading on your personal laptop.
Where was that at?
If you are in your navigation panel down towards the bottom. So I have picture-by-picture instructions. So when you get your laptop and you click on and you do the instructions, do you guys remember like AOL Instant Messenger back in the day?
Is it just like it?
Blackboard IM is the same thing, however, your instructor is automatically on here. So if your instructor is online, you could just send them an instant message. All of your classmates are on here, and if you add me, I am on here. So anytime my laptop is open and working, like right now when I'm doing a videotape, my stuff is up, so hopefully no student messages have popped up during this video. But if I'm green and I'm online and you don't want to send an email and it's too much for a remind, well, let me just send her an IM. The other thing that's cool about Blackboard IM though, especially if you want to get to me, is we can phone chat just through this app. Plus we can also pull up a whiteboard. So if you're having trouble with something like in math, and you actually want me to like draw on a whiteboard like I would in a classroom, we can do all those things through Blackboard IM. So you have another way to access me, to access your teachers, and to even access your classmates. So if you guys don't have each other's phone numbers or whatever and you're home and you see that each other is on and you have a question, you can send each other a message. So those instructions are also in your packet that you can do to your laptop when you get it. Don't do it to these computers. Okay? What questions do we have? I know this was a lot of information for 2 hours. Are you glad that you came? Was it like, yeah, I needed to be here for this kind of a thing? Are we feeling overwhelmed? A little bit. So what else? I love how you guys are so responsive. You're like, or will you not know if you're overwhelmed until you get out of here and after you pee, which everyone's like. This first week, no, I have to too. This first week, I will send you reminders. So on Wednesday, I'll remind you about your other, because you still have that other discussion board post, the what does writing mean to me. I'll send you a reminder about the quiz. I will send you a reminder on Sunday. After that, I usually taper off with reminders because you have the deadline calendar and things like that. But it doesn't mean, even if you leave here and you get to the car and you're like, oh, how do I do this? Send me a message. Come back in. This week is very crazy for me. Next week, I will send out my new office hours for the next 5 weeks. So I will be in my office and you can pop in. Do we know where my office is?
No.
Okay, so if you go up to the front to the main desk, you guys have all been in admissions before, right? Did you all sit at that table, especially if you work with Joe, did you sit with that at that little table? If you sat at that little table and you saw those big filing cabinets, I live behind there. If you didn't,
It's very nice and cozy back there.
if you're in admissions, there's a little hallway behind admissions, I live back there. So even if you just go to the front and someone comes up and they're like, hey, what's up, what you need? And you're like, I need to see Dr. McDonald. Or if you send me a text message, you're like, I'm up the front. I'll come get you. And you come back, we talk, we do whatever you need. Your laptops that you are about to get, that's the last thing. So if you want to log out of everything that's on the computer. Your laptops are coming preset with all of the web browsers that you need. They are coming already with full Microsoft Office. That includes PowerPoint, Word, Excel, blah, blah, blah. They have virus protection on them, and they are warranted. So don't forget, if you tamper with that in any way, if you download extra programs, if you delete extra programs, if you have other people who are techies play with the computer and then bring it to me or our IT person for an issue, you voided your warranty potentially. So if anything is wrong with the computer, you let me know first. You will also be getting a flash drive. It is 8 gig, so it is more than enough to get you through. If the thought of flash drive and that I just said gig makes you get poo pains because you don't know what that means or how to use it, you let me know, we meet up, and we teach you how to use your flash drive. Okay? All right, so I'm going to stop the video. Bye. Wish you were here.